Hello and welcome, this is SuperPlayer009 and this will be my first narrated YouTube video. As the title suggests, this is yet another all Zelda bosses video. However, instead of giving you one 20-minute video, this list will be composed of a series of smaller videos. I found that this way greater quality could be achieved. Now, as you can see, there are currently 8 different parts planned. There is also a playlist. You will be able to choose which part to go to at the start and end of each video. Now with that out of the way, let's start this list. To start off the list, we have Clementis. He appears as the first boss of the original Legend of Zelda, and also the first boss in the Legend of Zelda series. Even though this boss may seem intimidating at first, the strategy to defeat it is fairly simple. Just try to dodge the fireballs and shoot your sword beams from across the room at it. As for the design of this boss, it's based on a combination between a unicorn and a dragon. Appearing as the second boss of the original Legend of Zelda, we have Dodongo. In its original iteration, Dodongo appears as a big dinosaur-like creature who is described as disliking smoke. Dodongo will freely walk around the room until Link drops a bomb in front of it. He will then proceed to eat the bomb. This process is repeated twice in order to defeat him. Moving on to the third boss, we have Manhandler. Manhandler is described as a large spinning man-eating flower. As the description tells us, Manhandler will spin around in the room. He will also shoot fireballs at Link. The easiest way to take out Manhandler is by using your bombs. This is due to the fact that the bombs can hit multiple heads at once. If you choose to use your sword, keep in mind that for each head Manhandler loses, it will go faster. This boss is described as a huge dragon which can have up to 4 heads, and which also can spit beams at Link. Heads that Link cut off from its body fly around in the air. If you haven't guessed by now, it's Gleeok. This boss is probably one of the most challenging bosses you will face in the original Legend of Zelda. There isn't any specific strategy I could recommend while fighting this boss. What I can say is that you should probably try to take it out as fast as possible, and also don't be afraid to take hits. Digdogger is described as a large sea urchin that shrivel up after sound attacks. To defeat Digdogger, Link will need to play the recorder so that it shrinks down to a smaller version of itself. In this form it can be easily defeated by your sword. Appearing as the 6th boss of the original Legend of Zelda, we have Goma, a huge anthropod who's simply described as living in the labyrinths. Goma's shell will repel all attacks, therefore you need to attack its main weak point, its eye. This works only with your arrows and when the eye is open. And before we move on, there's one more thing of note. There are 2 versions of Goma. One blue and one red. The blue will simply take more arrows to kill. Okay, next up is Patra. Patra is actually a mini-boss, although it's usually considered a boss due to the fight's high level of difficulty. Patra is composed of a single flying eye surrounded by several smaller flying eyes. Patra comes in 2 different varieties, denoted by the pattern in which the outer ring of eyes behave. While both types spin their smaller Patra around the center eye, one variety has the circle expand and contract while the other acts more like a gyroscope. Keep in mind that both versions are equally menacing. And appearing as the final boss of the original Legend of Zelda, we have Ganon. Ganon is a pig-like demon, and he's described as being the Prince of Darkness. In this game, Ganon has captured Zelda and managed to obtain the Triforce of Power. There are a few things you want to think about when fighting Ganon. First off, Ganon will attack while he's invisible. Just try to avoid his fireballs and swing your sword at where he appears to be. After hit a few times, he will turn red and become paralyzed. Link must now shoot him with a silver arrow in order to finish him off. Horsehead is the first boss in the adventure of Link, and is encountered in Parva Palace. In this battle, Link must perform continuous jump slashes with his sword at the boss's head in order to defeat it. Keep in mind that the boss's club is the most detrimental weapon Link has had to face thus far, so using the shield magic would be recommended for this fight. Like Horsehead, Helmethead's weak point is his head. Unlike Horsehead, however, he attacks by throwing fireballs at Link from his head. When Link lands a blow upon the head, the helmet will come off and be replaced by another one. The detached helmet will then begin to float around and attempt to kill Link by shooting more fireballs at him and running into him. When Link knocks off two of the helmets, his true head will arise from the armor. Then it's just a matter of time before you finish him off. Raburn Argost is the boss of the Island Palace in the Adventure of Link. He is a powerful blue iron knuckle mounted on a floating mechanical horse and wielding a jousting lance. While mounted on his horse, Raburn retreats off or almost off screen, then charges at Link at high speed. Link must jump and use the down thrust to damage him. After he's suffered enough damage, he will fight Link on foot as a standard blue iron knuckle. Karok guards the Maze Island Palace, and can only be defeated by using the Reflect spell to turn his own magic against him. Karok throws his attacks and warps at a very high rate, so Link must defeat him quickly. Guma is a giant with a spike helmet that swings a spiked ball and chain at Link. Wearing no armor, his body is vulnerable, but not his head. To defeat Guma, you must dodge the spiked ball that he throws at you. Then you must run up to him and slash him with your sword. It is advised to immediately step back afterwards to avoid getting hit by the spiked weapon. Parva is the 6th boss in the game, and the guardian of the three-eyed rock palace. It breathes fireballs at Link, however it can be beaten if Link uses the jump spell. Or, if you prefer, you can use the upward sword thrust, though this second method is more risky, as it's easier to fall into the lava. The Thunderbird is the guardian of the Great Palace and the penultimate boss in the adventure of Link. When first encountered, it will swoop down upon Link from above and proceed to attack him with fireballs. It will have a red color to it and will at first be invulnerable to attacks. To reveal its weakness, which is its face, Link must cast the Thunder spell. Casting this spell will cause the Thunderbird's color to change from red to blue and will make his face appear, leaving it vulnerable. Making his first appearance in the series, and as the final boss of the Adventure of Link, we have Shadow Link. In battle he dodges most of the attacks that Link attempts, but is vulnerable when he jumps. This flaw can be taken advantage of simply by standing in the corner and repeatedly swinging Link's sword toward Shadow Link. Remember that if you're gonna face him head on, you should use your magic and be very careful what you do.